Michael Euperio, what's up, friend? How are you?
Dude, my man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Um, what's new? How's life?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Lots,
lots
lots
going
new,
on the
right?
personal front, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll save that for another day.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. We have been friends for quite some time now. You're here locally in the Denver metro, so we get to hang out regularly, and probably not as regularly as we should. We need to be hanging out a little bit more, but snowboard season's coming, so maybe we'll do some of that.
Absolutely.
But
Oh, the snow hasn't been very good yet, right? Like,
and, it'll come. It'll come.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, you've been a part of multiple communities that I've started and we've been in, and you know I'm an investor of yours, and you've been an investor of ours, and just fun to like do life and do business with close friends, and I greatly appreciate everything that you've done and continue to do. So I just wanted to kind of give back a little bit and highlight everything that you've got going on. And so let's just kind of start with a little bit of your background and where you came from, and then get into what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm sure much to your chagrin, I'm a Army guy, West Point
Yeah,
grad, right?
I'll
So
let you slide.
be Navy. No, I graduated from West Point, did the active duty thing for, just a little bit over 5 years. While I was in the military, I was an armor officer, had a couple deployments to Iraq. Then, interestingly enough, was a space guy before there was even like the Space Force, and like space was a thing even in the Air Force, really. Like, I was in First Space Brigade in the Army, and we did space stuff there in Colorado Springs. And then yeah, I mean, honestly, I kept going. I couldn't believe it, but frankly, I ended up retiring out of the reserves summer of 24, so made it 21 years.
That's awesome.
After active duty, just like a lot of other folks, I think, hey, I know I want to go into business, but I don't necessarily know what I want to do in business. So, of course, I went and got an MBA. We knew we loved Colorado, so instead of going to something out of state or like a top 10 MBA program, I just decided, hey, like let's go to CU in Boulder and just network while I'm there. And so establish roots here in Colorado. And so, yeah, I've been in Colorado, man, since late 2003 and love it here.
Wow.
And, um, after post MBA, ended up taking a job at a PE backed firm that ended up going public back in 2014. So we can go into that a little bit because I mean, that was very formative as far as my career. I mean, after that stint at that company and that taking that company public or helping take that company public, um, felt like I was ready to kind of take over and run my own business and be a CEO somewhere. It didn't end up that way. I had a couple more stints at startups and middle market companies that were supposed to go public or have big exits, and nothing ever really materialized. Kind of beyond just me moving on from those companies. But now I'm in my what I like to call my third career, and that's a managing partner, COO of a private investment firm that does commercial real estate, specifically in medical offices, medical outpatient buildings. Took kind of a circuitous route here. Like we started in multifamily, dabbled a little bit in hotel hospitality, and then now, like I said, ended up in medical office doing absolute net leases, and have this large partnership with a medical office developer out of Tennessee. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it as far as I don't see myself going out of commercial real estate. I mean this is going to be my career till I decide I'm done working, and so I love what I do now.
That's awesome, man. I'm just curious, like why real estate? I mean, you didn't start there. Like you said, you kind of went into the uh, you know venture world, tech world, business world, and then you kind of moved into real estate. Like what brought you there? What was exciting about it? And what was that transition like?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, while I was in business school, I mean, I was friends with a lot of the real estate focused and concentration folks, but I was kind of like poo-pooed on the fact that they were real estate focused folks because it was like, oh, I mean, anybody can do real estate. It's not like you need an MBA or a higher level degree to do real estate. I mean, I was kind of associated commercial real estate with like just residential, being a realtor or something like that, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
um, that's obviously not the case. I mean, you got to be pretty smart to do well in commercial real estate. But I think it was more a byproduct of when I was in the corporate world. And I love doing deals, right? Like I was always a deal guy. I did corporate development, M&A. So I was always a deal guy. But what was missing for me there towards the tail end of my corporate career was, my day to day. Like I just wasn't doing anything of service or doing anything that I felt like was creating lasting impact,
Mm,
and or helping people, right? It was purely just the grind of going to meetings, 95% of my day in meetings, preparing for meetings, and or trying to maximize revenue with for our company or with our partners, right? And there was really no um, way to like impact the community. And so for me, the transition to real estate kind of happened probably because, one, I liked doing deals. So I always enjoyed doing deals. I mean, there's something about, I mean, I think we can all identify with this, right? Like, when you go to the store and you can buy something at a discount and make that into a good investment and get a good ROI. I mean, that always feels good, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, real estate to me wasn't necessarily something I sought out. It was more just kind of a medium and a vehicle for me to have a little bit more time freedom, be able to help others through, like I said, investment and tax benefits. Um, yeah, and really just doing something, like I said, I mean, now that we're in the medical office space, I mean, obviously there's um, a lack of space for good care out there. And so,
Yeah.
taking second generation medical office space and turning into either an ambulatory surgical center or, um, we have comprehensive care clinics that help, uh, lower income demographics and things like that. Like there's definitely an aspect of service there that I didn't get kind of in the corporate tech venture world, that I
Yeah.
left.
No, I love that, man. And we talk to more and more military veterans that have transitioned into the same space, and that's a common answer. I think that that mindset of looking at real estate, commercial real estate, the business of being in service, and creating an opportunity to take something old and make it new, and service the client in a way is really cool. And that mindset, I think, is really uh, well thought out. One and two, like I think it creates opportunities for success, especially with military veterans, because we come from that, right? Um,
Absolutely.
how, speaking of like the military and your background there, being in it for 21 years, how do you think that that has helped with what you're doing now?
Yeah. I mean, on the business side and the real estate side of things, typically what I handle is more of the post-acquisition side of the equation. And so asset management, property operations, construction management, project management. I mean, those those functions go hand in hand with like the military, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you think of like soft skills, like attention to detail, being meticulous about having going off checklists and being very formulaic about, hey, like let's put process in place, systems in place to go attack a problem, and then make it repeatable, right? And so, I mean, when you're out there acquiring a portfolio and trying to grow with it and scale it, I mean, the last thing you want to do is make mistakes or similar mistakes over and over again when that could be avoided, right? So, I mean, that's the easy answer. I think if anything, I think a lot of folks that come out of the military, have frankly a little bit bigger tolerance for risk.
Mm,
And so, I mean, not that you need to seek risk while you're a real estate investor, but man, it's a roller coaster. Like there's definitely some ups and downs, and I mean, you've been through this where there's
yeah.
unexpected. I mean, you can have contingency plan after contingency plan, but I mean, there's going to be the unexpected that happens, and you need to be able to deal with that, right? And so, I think just knowing and having that kind of level-headed attitude of like, okay, well, at least I'm not in combat, like getting shot at, for example. Like this is not life and death. I mean, this is real estate, and so I can get through this, whatever problems are ahead of me.
Dude, that's so interesting. Like, we've I say we, David, my primary business partner, we've been had many of challenges in our own real estate ventures, right? And businesses and when you compare dealing with a straight up, quote unquote civilian who's kind of never been in that aspect of service in the military world, um, it does seem like they handle challenges a lot differently than we do, right? We being the military veteran, and like I feel like we are able to, bounce off things easier, like adapt, be flexible, figure out like how to like run with it, make decisions quickly, right? And then like move forward and like take action on things. And we've dealt with other partners and businesses and things that aren't able to do that when things change, when plans aren't what you had hoped for, right? So I think that's huge, man. Um, Investment. You've been investing for a long time,
Yep.
both personally and then with other people. Like, what would you say has been the best investment for you overall?
Uh, so I mean, this was probably unintentional, that ended up being my best investment. But buying a house in Boulder County here in Colorado, in 2011 with a VA loan.
Oh, dang.
Um, I mean, fast forward to 2025, we're actually unfortunately having to sell the house under some difficult circumstances. But I mean, here's a house, in the middle of a very desirable community, desirable county in the United States, one of the fastest growing states in the country. And like, um, we basically felt like we were actually sacrificing location, because we wanted to be, in a different suburb, Broomfield, Colorado. But there was just nothing that met our needs. And so ended up doing like a dirt build, brand new construction. Like I said, in 2011, bought it with a VA loan. I mean, we've since done some work to it as far as like, I mean, it was a spec, it was one of those new construction homes where it's builder grade items inside. But I mean, we've since added like new floors, customized the kitchen, have done some stuff to the backyard and things like that from a landscaping perspective. But I mean, I'll just say the numbers, right? We bought the house for 365 in 2011. We're about to sell it for close to $1 million.
Dude,
Um,
that's so
and
cool.
so, I mean, I wish I could say that like, oh, I definitively knew that was going to happen. But it was timing,
Yeah.
frankly, and just smart, disciplined. Um, I think at the time it felt like buying the house was a stretch, to be honest. But we also wanted to buy a house that I could handle on my single income, so my wife could perhaps maybe stay at home with our kids if she wanted to. Um, yeah, good luck buying a house in Colorado on a single income these days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the power of real estate. I mean, if you hold on to something for long enough, it's gonna grow. And yeah, there's been cycles, right? Like there's been cycles of ups and downs of value there, but you hold on to it for long enough, it's gonna go up. Um, that's awesome, man. That's a
Yeah.
huge win. What about your worst investment? What's the worst investment you've ever had?
I mean, there are a couple that come to mind, and frankly, I guess this would go hand in hand as far as like stuff that I wish I would have done when I was younger, and just missed opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like when we were, young lieutenants and captains, in my early days in Colorado Springs, we actually pulled together money to rent a seasonal rental, like up in Summit County for like ski and snowboard season, right?
Okay.
And so we easily could have, one of us easily could have purchased a ski condo or a ski house, in Summit County, like in 2003 or 2004. I
Oh,
mean, mind
geez.
you, we just came back from deployments and we're flush with cash. Instead of buying like stupid stuff like motorcycles or
Yeah.
um, whatever else, like, we could have bought real estate, pooled investment, real estate. And I'm sure that, probably $500,000 condo back, back in the day then is probably well worth over, $1.3 million now, right?
Yeah.
And I did make that investment. Kind of the same thing in grad school, right? Like in grad school, I went to CU Boulder. I mean, we bought a condo that was probably a half mile away from campus. Looking back on it, it's like I didn't do the opportunity to like house hack. Like I
Mm,
think if anything, um, buying a house with like maybe a carriage house or buying maybe perhaps a duplex, but both sides, and then trying to live for free. Like
yeah.
what's funny is my son actually, unbeknownst to me, like came up with that idea on his own, like just the other day. Like he was like, "Hey, Dad, like I have a really cool idea as far as like real estate's concerned." He's like, "Why don't I buy a duplex when I go to college, and then rent out the other side, and then just try to live for free?" And I was like, just mind blown, like because I that's not
Yes.
something I've ever talked to him about. And I was like, "Man, you're about to be a real estate guru, dude," because that's awesome. So,
I love that.
um, you know,
Dude, yeah, so many so many missed opportunities. I have similar. I could think about so many missed opportunities going back. Well, I mean, just curious, like with that said, like how can we and this is, uh a question kind of off the script, but like what how can we ensure that, ourselves in the 20s at West Point at the Naval Academy, how do we get that information to those guys to tell them that they should go, buy the house, in the mountains, or buy the property in Pensacola while you're in flight school and house hack it and rent it out to people? Like, what do you think like the medium is for that? Like, how do we get to that person?
it's something I struggle with a lot, which is like, I mean, in the entire 4 years that I was at West Point, like I distinctly remember there was like this one presentation where this guy came and he somehow has this partnership where he's able to meet with like cadets one on one. And honestly, he talked to us about like cash value life insurance, right?
Mm,
And this was back like in the early 2000s. Um, and frankly, as a young lieutenant, like there's no reason why, or even a cadet, there's no reason why you should have. At the time, people were like, "Why are you spending so much on a life insurance policy when you can just get a term?" Right? So it
yeah,
was
yeah.
just that basically like there was no real education around being financially savvy, right, or
Mm,
financially literate. At least I don't know if at the Naval Academy you guys got that in
nope.
Annapolis, but like, um, I mean, frankly, I've had lots of discussions with this with just people. It's like as far as like, I mean, I didn't even know how to like manage a budget like until after I graduated from there, and even
Yeah.
then, it was like because I deployed so quickly um, after commissioning, like I frankly didn't have a budget the entire time I was active duty. I didn't really start having a budget until after I graduated my MBA program, which was like when I was in my late 20s. It's pretty sad. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess if anything, I really do think there needs to be some sort of financial literacy education done. I mean, what I love is that, with social media platforms nowadays, there is like the military real estate network group, and, there's a USMA real estate network group. And like, so there's all these like communities that like, for example, that you're building, where you can, as a cadet, if you're proactive and lean in, you can meet people like us, and establish relationships. And that spans age groups, that spans geographies. So it's definitely a little bit easier now, to I think to ingrain yourself and be proactive about finding that information. Because I tell you what, like I've been so impressed. Granted, there was never any way that I would be able to do this, with the op tempo from like 2003 to 2008 while I was active duty. But
Right.
I mean, the number of young junior military officers that have like side hustles that are just crushing it out there, like good
Yeah.
for them. Like they're still doing a great job in the military. But instead of what I did, which was drink from Wednesday night to Sunday night, and go out almost every like half of the week. I mean, they're doing productive stuff with their lives. So, uh,
100%,
so good
man.
for them. And, I'm happy to see that. But yeah, I mean, I think if anything, there just needs to be more of that financial literacy shared.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%, man. With that said, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self if you had to go back?
I mean, it goes back to, I think if anything, doing what's maybe hard at the time when you're early 20s, which is okay, like, um, I want to live in an extravagant apartment or like live in this house with like three or four other roommates at flight school or something like that. But be smart about it. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're in the military for 5 years, you easily could, you know, assume like or purchase like 2 to 4 rental properties, by just using your VA loan, right? And your
Yeah.
VA
Yeah.
entitlement. And, um, for me, I had a lot of missed opportunities that I've already kind of talked about, like, doing something here in Colorado for like a seasonal rental for ski or snowboard condo and not doing that same thing when I was in grad school, when I was still in my late 20s. Um, I mean, if anything, uh, it's one of those things where I mean, every action can snowball to, I mean, at this point, I'm, mid 40s. We talked a little bit earlier about where you stand,
We did.
almost late 40s now, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, we don't have the benefit of time anymore, right? Like you
Right.
can make mistakes in your early 20s and mid 20s and go be entrepreneurial and go chase big dreams. Which I think, yeah, I mean, honestly, would I've done something more entrepreneurial coming right out of grad school? I think maybe that's the time to take the risk versus just going straight to a PE-backed company that ended up going public. Because I
Yeah.
think that what that set me off in doing was, oh, I've done this once, but I ended up leaving that company that when I IPO as a senior director. And I just saw, I mean, the VPs, executives that left that company, I mean, they effectively walked away with like tens of millions of dollars, right? And it was like, oh, I'm just gonna go chase that because I've already done it once, or I already seen the formula. Let me go chase that. I ended up doing that 3 or 4 more times without the same result.
Mm.
And then I was like, man, I ended up next thing you know, I'm like in my mid to late 30s, and I'm pursuing a new third career, right? So,
Yeah. So bet on
um,
yourself a little bit earlier in life.
absolutely, I
Yeah.
think that's right.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. All right. Last question. What if you had, an opportunity to talk to the other members of the Military Investor Network and ask them, what would you ask them? What would you tell them, for those that are going to be watching this, listening to this?
Yeah, I know Military Investor Network tends to be a little bit real estate heavy, and that's okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I love the fact that with real estate, there's what people call maybe non-correlated returns or asymmetric returns, where like because you're kind of in control of the investment to a degree. Like if you're an active investor, I mean, you can obviously control the operational aspects of a real estate investment. So, I mean, frankly, I think that's great. Um, it's just one of those things where, I mean, there's obviously other things out there besides real estate, and I would encourage people to explore having a diversified portfolio. Um, because I mean, I think you and I have talked about this before, where it's like, sometimes just having money in a medium risk, low risk mutual fund can outperform, a
Yeah.
real estate investment. So,
Yeah.
and you don't have to do anything at all, right? But I mean, if anything, I think it's, and we learned this how we've ended up doing medical office, right? Like a lot of times you have these folks going out and chasing, these 18+% IRRs and these returns that could be not only 18+%, but then, hey, let me double my money in 2 years, which can happen sometimes in a great market.
Yeah.
Um, but going back to the worst investment, like I mean, I did a couple syndications in 21 and 22 where primarily did the investments for tax benefits, but and was hoping, hey, just as long as they don't lose my money, this won't be a bad investment because I got the tax benefit. Lo and behold, that money got lost, and
Mm.
so um, ended up not being a good investment. But it's like, I mean, it was because uh, perhaps maybe I didn't fully think through the market and or the fact that it was kind of frothy around multifamily, and those excellent returns wasn't going to last forever, right? So
Yeah. No, that's good, man. I actually I was a guest on a podcast and someone asked me a similar question, like what's my worst investment, and looking back on it, I think I trusted I put too much trust in whether it's the operator or the information at hand without doing more of my own due diligence, right?
yeah,
And just immediately put like I'm a pretty trustworthy guy. So like I immediately put some trust in an advertisement on Bigger Pockets on a podcast and like talk to the one person one time and then go buy a turnkey real estate deal and it was terrible, right? Or, don't sign any, partnership paperwork just because I think I trusted the guy. Like, to your point, like put more effort into the diligence, think through things, think about the partnerships. Do you really trust them, know them, like them? That's really good information to pass along. So you're a wise, middle-aged, 40-year-old man, sir.
you too,
Wise
my friend.
beyond your years.
You too. I do have a little bit of gray, right? So,
You do. I think you have more gray than I do.
oh man, I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
look at your beard though. Like
It is all right, friend. Well, I'll let you go. I appreciate you. And hopefully I will see you soon with a
absolutely.
snowboard in hand.
Let's do it.
All right, buddy. Bye.
All right, take care.